Good evening and Jai Hind children. I welcome you all in today's live class of biology. Now, children, today I am going to revise the chapter respiration. Alright. So, one by one, we will discuss the different topics of the chapter. And remember, children, respiration, which is one of the important characteristic feature of all living organism. Is it? And in this process, yes, what happens? The oxygen that we take in is used to release energy by oxidation of food and eliminating the waste products such as carbon dioxide and water. So this process is known as, yes, respiration. Children, you have already read that the energy is released from digested food through the process of respiration. And during this process, the nutrients of the digested food react with oxygen in the body cells to release energy. And this reaction with oxygen is known as oxidation. Alright, what it is known as? Oxidation. Now, the process of respiration have main two steps. So the two different steps or the processes which takes place in respiration are, the first one is external respiration, or this external respiration is also known as breathing. So this is first process, and in this process taking in air which is rich in oxygen and giving out air which is rich in carbon dioxide takes place. Now, children, taking in air rich in oxygen is known as inhalation, and giving out air rich in carbon dioxide is known as exhalation. Alright, so you can say that external respiration or breathing completes in two steps, that is inhalation and exhalation. Alright, now the second process of respiration is internal respiration, or it is also known as cellular respiration. Okay, so in this step, in this process, using of oxygen to break down food to release energy takes place, and this internal respiration occurs in body cells. Get it? In respiration, that glucose molecules reacts with oxygen and breaks down into carbon dioxide and water to release energy. So, the chemical reaction which involve in respiration process can be summarized as glucose. That formula is C6H12O6. Is going to react with oxygen, and as a result it forms carbon dioxide and water and produces energy. Alright, so this is the chemical reaction which involved in the process of respiration. Glucose and oxygen They both combine to form carbon dioxide, water, and release energy. Okay? Now, children, we will study one by one the process of respiration in plants and animals. Alright? So, first, we will discuss about the respiration in plants. Respiration in plants. Since the plants are living things, they also respire by taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. And plants do not have any organs for breathing. So the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place through small pores which are called stomata. Okay, and these stomatas are present in the leaves and stems. So these pores are known as stomata. Get it? And the stomata, along with its nearby guard cells and other cells, are called the stomatal apparatus. Get it? So, the expansion and contraction of the guard cells, which occurs due to the supply of moisture and light, and results in opening and closing of the stomata. And the rate of exchange of gases in plants is much lower than in animals. Alright, and with the help of the diagram, you can easily understand about the stomata. These two are the guard cells. Okay, and this is stomatal opening. And these are the surrounding cell or epidermal cells. And these all together known as stomatal apparatus. Got it, children? So, with the help of this opening, what happens? Yes, the oxygen and moisture gets moved. So, this opening and closing of the stomata is responsible for the movement of or the exchange of gases in plants. Get it? Now, some of the energy which released during the respiration is used by the organism, and the rest is lost as heat. And you can show the release of carbon dioxide and heat energy during the respiration in plants. And for this, simply you have to take some pea seeds in water overnight, and in next morning drain the water and keep the seeds moist until they start germinating. And now use a suction pump to suck in air through the apparatus, such as the air passes through the test tube A, which is drawn as here. So this one is the setup. Children, here the three test tubes are used. This is test tube A, test tube B, and test tube C. Alright? In this flask, we will take some germinating seeds. Alright? Now, in test tube A and B, as I already have told, we will soak some bean seeds or gram seed in water overnight. And next morning, yes, what we'll do? Drain the water and keep the seeds moist until they start germinating. And now use a suction pump to suck in air through the apparatus. Alright, and as the air passes through test tube A, as the air will pass through this test tube A, then the potassium hydroxide in test tube A will absorb the carbon dioxide from the incoming air. Alright, so what is there in test tube A? It's potassium hydroxide. And the formula of potassium hydroxide is KOH. Alright, so this potassium hydroxide will absorb carbon dioxide from the air, and this can be tasted by passing the air through lime water in the test tube B. Now in this test tube B, we will take lime water. Alright, so that air will move from test tube A to B that does not have carbon dioxide, and we can taste it. So while passing this air into B, it will not turn the milky, showing that the air does not contain carbon dioxide. And how long does the lime water in test tube C that take to turn milky? In this test tube C, we also have lime water. Get it? So, the air which comes from this and goes to the test tube C, it turns milky. So, this shows that the carbon dioxide is released during respiration. Alright, children, we can also show that the heat is released during respiration process. And for this, we can prepare a setup as these are the two flasks. So first of all, we will soak some bean seeds in water overnight, and next morning drain the water and keep the seeds moist till they start germinating. Now boil half of the seeds so that the germination stops in them. And now keep the germinating seeds in thermoflask A. So this is our thermoflask A. And in this one, we will keep the germinating seeds. And this is thermoflask B. And in thermoflask B, we will keep the boiled seeds. Alright. Now put moist cotton wool on the mouth of both the flasks. So here cotton plug is kept at the mouth of both flasks, and it will keep the seeds moist and also allow air to enter the flask. Now insert thermometers in both the flasks. So these are the thermometers. Get it? So after inserting the thermometers, measure the temperature of the flask at the beginning of the experiment and each day for a week. So you will observe that there is a rise in temperature in flask A, but not in flask B. So this shows that the germinating seeds respire and they produce heat. As a result, yes, the heat is absorbed in here in thermometer. Temperature increase, and in B, thermoflask B, the seeds are boiled. So the boiled seeds will not respire, and as a result, temperature is not increased in thermometer of flask B. Get it? So these are some of the ways, the activities by which you can show that the heat as well as carbon dioxide is given out during respiration in plants. Even the roots of the plants also respire. So the root cells of plants also need oxygen to generate energy, and they get this oxygen from air which is trapped between soil particles. And that is why we should not overwater potted plants, because the water replaces the air in the soil and the roots cannot breathe, and this affects the growth of plants. Mangrove trees, which are growing in swampy areas, they cannot get air from the soil as it is waterlogged. So they have aerial roots to take in air. Get it? Now, children, there are one more important process that occurs in plants, that is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis and respiration, they both are related to each other, as in plants, both photosynthesis and respiration occurs during the day. Since photosynthesis is the major activity, because the more oxygen is released during photosynthesis, then it is absorbed during the respiration. So therefore, there is a net absorption of carbon dioxide and release of oxygen by plants during the daytime. And however, photosynthesis does not occur at night. So only respiration takes place in oxygen and release carbon dioxide at night. Get it? So the relationship between photosynthesis and respiration. So children, this one is all about the respiration in plants. Now we will discuss about respiration in animals. Respiration in animals. So children, you know that the different animals have different ways in which the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs in their bodies. And some of these ways are that first one, some animals, yes, exchange the gases through cell membrane or skin. In unicellular organisms such as amoeba and paramecia, they exchange the gases by diffusion process through the cell membrane. Alright, and in hydra and earthworm, this exchange of gases takes place by diffusion through the moist outer surface or skin, you can say that. Alright, so in some animals, the exchange of gases takes place through the cell membrane or skin. Now the second way is there, the exchange of gases takes place through air holes. Okay, like insects such as cockroaches, grasshoppers, etc. They have the openings which are called spiracles. These openings are called spiracles, and these spiracles are present on the surface of their body. Now, air enters through these openings and reaches all parts of the body through respiratory tubes, which are called trachea, and their branches, which are called tracheoles. Get it? So, insects have spiracles on their body by which air enters. Get it? Now, in some of animals, this exchange of gases takes place through gills. So fishes uses gills for exchange of gases, and these gills are made up of a large number of filaments which are richly supplied with thin blood veins which is called capillaries. Get it? As the water enters through the mouth, it flows over the gills, and the blood in the capillaries absorbs oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide through its walls. Get it? So this way, yes, the exchange of gases takes place in fishes with the help of gills. And in some of the animals, this exchange of gases takes place through lungs. Okay? So a tadpole has gills, but as it grows into a frog, it develops air bags which are called lungs for gases exchange. And though the frogs have lungs, they can also breathe through their moist skin, just like earthworms. Birds and mammals, they also have highly developed lungs where the gaseous exchange takes place. Alright, so children, you have seen here these four are the different ways which are found in animals through which exchange of gases takes place. Through cell membrane or skin, through air holes, through gills, and through lungs. Get it? Now, we will discuss in detail about the respiratory system in humans. Alright, children? Respiratory system in humans. In the human respiratory system consists of some organs which are responsible for taking in oxygen for respiration and releasing carbon dioxide and water vapors, which are waste products formed during respiration. And these organs are first one, nostrils. Get it? This is the passage in the nose. And then the trachea, which is known as windpipe. After that, bronchi and lungs. Okay, so these all are the organs, main organs of respiratory system in men. Get it? Now, the respiratory system, as we have discussed, takes place are divided into two, that is breathing and cellular respiration. So come one by one, that is breathing in. You know, the breathing in, it means that the taking of the air rich in oxygen into our body, which is called inhalation. And the air around us is impure, and our lungs require air which is moist, warm, and clean. And as the air we breathe in passes through the nostril, it is moistened by the slimy mucus which is present in the nose. And the mucus is secreted by the inner lining of the nose. And the air becomes warm by the blood circulation in the nose. The mucus and the hair present inside our nose trap dirt, dust particles, and disease causing germs and prevent them from entering the respiratory system. We do not get the clean air if we breathe through our mouth instead of our nose. Alright, and therefore we should always breathe through the nose. It will protect us from catching an infection. Alright, so breathing in means that inhalation or taking in of air which is rich in oxygen. Get it? Now after that, this air reaches to the lungs. So from the nose or nasal cavity, the air passes through the pharynx or throat cavity to the windpipe or trachea. And the windpipe branches into two smaller tubes which are called bronchi. And each bronchus enters into a lungs. Get it? So, after entering into the lungs, in the lungs, that each bronchus branches out into many smaller tubes which are called bronchioles. And at the end of these tubes are tiny air sacs which are called alveoli. And each lungs contains about 300 million alveoli. Okay, children? So the air we breathe in eventually reaches these air sacs, and the air sacs are surrounded by blood vessels. The oxygen which is present in the air we breathe in goes into the blood contained in blood vessels, and the carbon dioxide present in the blood as a waste product of respiration passes out of the blood into the air sacs, and thus exchange of gases takes place in the lungs. Alright? Now the blood takes the oxygen to all the cells of the body where it is used to get energy from food, and the carbon dioxide released by the cells as waste that goes back into the blood and is released into the air sacs of the lungs, and it is then breathed out by us, and the giving out of the air rich in carbon dioxide is called exhalation. A little in. So this one is the complete process. And now that how this air enters the lungs. So for this you can understood the mechanism of the movement of diaphragm. Get it? But before that, I'm going to explain the same process of respiration or respiratory system in human beings with the help of diagram. So, children, just see that the diagram of respiratory system, nostril or nasal passage through which the air enters. Now, after that, this one is pharynx, epiglottis, trachea or windpipe, bronchus, and the bronchus get divides into bronchioles. And these two are the get it. So this one is the complete respiratory system of human beings, and these are the different organs involved in respiratory system. Alright children, so first the air enters through the nostril, then it passes through the pharynx and epiglottis and reaches to the trachea or windpipe. The trachea gets divided into bronchus, and bronchus enters into the lungs and again divided into many fine bronchioles. And the bronchioles have the air. So through these air sacs, the exchange of gases occurs. Now, children, when you breathe in air, the diaphragm goes down, increasing the space in the chest cavity. And the air from the atmosphere enters the lungs and they expand. And when you breathe out, the diaphragm moves up, decreasing the space in the chest cavity. And this forces the air out of the lungs. Okay, and when a person needs extra energy, for example, when he or she is running, breathing becomes faster because it supplies more oxygen to the cells, and this speeds up the breakdown of food, and as a result, yes, it releases more energy. Get it? And in cellular respiration, the blood takes the oxygen to all the cells of the body. And that blood have the substance which is a red color pigment known as, yes, hemoglobin. It binds itself with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. It is in this form that oxygen is carried through the blood, and the cellular respiration occurs in the cells. And during cellular respiration, the sugar molecules in food are oxidized to form carbon dioxide and water, and energy is given out. Alright, so this is similar. The reaction which involves in cellular respiration is similar to the chemical reaction that occurs during burning or combustion. Okay, however, the two processes, that is respiration and the combustion, are different from each other. Alright, so this one is complete. Yes, process of respiration which occurs in the body of human beings. Alright, and I hope that you understood all the topics of the chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.